and 1.
Hey there, good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you're tuning in from. If you're live, we're here. If you're on the replay, welcome. And it's our graduate mastermind from all the boot campers. And we are now in week 9 according to my schedule. It could be different to others, but we're going by the system we had set up originally, and here we are. All right, let's take a look at who's on the panel today. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves? Ladies first.
Thanks. Hey, it's Linda Hobson with Create Your Best Life Ever. And glad to be here this morning. I guess that's it. Hi, everybody.
Okay. And
Everybody knows me, so.
Hi, I'm Robert Vaughn with RobertVaughnLive.com. And I am, excited to be here today. Thanks, Ray, for having me.
Oh, always. You're always welcome.
As long as there's coffee involved, right?
It always helps.
Yeah. All right, Nancy says good morning. She's on the thread.
Oh, awesome.
So we got her in here, even though it's not showing up on my screen saying viewers.
Come on, Nancy, jump on.
Yep, let us know you're here. There we go. All right, we got a viewer. Let's see who else comes on today. All right, so just so everybody knows, we're going to start something new this week. And this came from an idea Erica gave me. And what we need to do is, I know the people in the latest boot camp probably did this, we're going to start doing a little bit more syndication of our blogs by putting a thread up, and that people can go and comment on 3 other people's blogs, and then they can return the favor and do it back again. So starting tomorrow, you're going to see that. It's Friday morning. We'll be posting that so that people can get involved with getting comments on their blog, because that'll help with its ranking, and then, do a little bit more syndication, because I know, if anybody watched Erica's team hangout from last week, Sue Price was on talking about getting a lot of comments, because she gets like 40 per post or something like that.
Holy moly.
Yeah.
It's a lot of comments.
Yeah, it is, but she's in a couple of syndication groups, so that helps out a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's key to getting your word out there. So the more the merrier.
Mm-hmm. So is the when we post our blog post, do we post it twice in the assignment and then in the commenting thread, or just in the commenting thread, or what do you want us to do?
I didn't even think about that yet. What I would say is we probably need to do it in both.
Okay, that sounds like a plan.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes, and if anything, we'll make changes as we go along. But as of thinking it right now, I think it's going to be for both. All right, I just want to give an update too for the new people watching this, the current graduates and recent graduates. Just say congratulations and welcome. And just so you know, this is a little bit of a free-form type session where we talk about things that we might be having trouble with, or something that worked out really good for us. But it's everybody join in and participate. There's no real set structure, and we welcome comments from everybody on what we can do differently and better, or stop doing. So just so you have that in mind for the future on what we're all about. Another thing that we're all about is learning. And one of the things that we've been doing is going through the top producer formula. And as of this past week, Robert, did you forget to do that? I just sort of look on your face.
No, actually I listened to it this morning.
Oh, okay, good. We've been going through the top producer formula. We just finished week 8 with that module 8 about upselling and getting bigger sales. So we're going to open that up for discussion, and let's get the panel's views on that. So, ladies first again.
Okay. Well, first of all, I like that it was. Oh, I'm hearing an echo. Is your laptop on sound?
No.
Right. Okay. Oh, now it stopped. Okay. I like the fact that. Oh, I'm hearing it again. Oh well. It's just hard to talk when you hear yourself echo.
Right.
I like the fact that it was only 21 minutes long. Yeah, that was a good thing. And the fact that you get into their core desire just by asking questions, and that was, I just think it's just tapping into their why, and not just the why of, oh, we can start paying our bills or whatever. That really get into that core. Why do they want to start something? Why do they want to get into an online business, or, and what is it going to do for them? I think is just. Of course, David Wood makes it seem so easy, smooth and kind of just a smooth conversation. I don't think it's always like that, but in reality. But if you're willing to keep at it and get to their core desire and their why, and you know what they want, that they have to spend. I think that was another key point that I like that he made, that, if they truly don't have the, whatever it is, 4,500 or $5,000 to go all in all at once, meet them where they're at. Do you really want them to, because I know they're, like Erica talked about, I think it was last week, where there are some leaders out there that are trying to tell people to open up a credit card, or, and Wood even said something like, you don't want them to take out a second mortgage to do this, they're already wanting to make more money, not get into more debt. So whatever they're willing to do, and knowing that it's important, make that key distinction, that then you can choose, okay, if they only have so much to spend, okay, these are the things I want you to start out with. But know that in the very near future, I want you to get, I don't want you to get complacent. I want you to, within the next so many months, to be able to get this product and this product. So just know that going forward. And so I really liked it, even though it was 20 minutes long. It was full of really giant gold nuggets, I think, and it's a shame that I don't know. For me, it was a shame to see the difference in Paul, where he was then and how he is now, because I think the fame and the money kind of changed him, so that made me kind of sad. But what it really did is made it a point to me that what happens going forward with recognition or in the money coming in with building my business, is that I always want to stay grounded. I never want it to affect me the way that it affected him, because it's kind of sad the way things changed for him. But anyway, that's about it for me.
Okay. I know you just mentioned something about being smooth with it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that just comes with practice.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you got to be, just so comfortable with it. Like Dave says, the first couple of times you probably screw up, but then you'll start getting better at it.
Mm-hmm. And you have to know they don't know what you're going to ask. So if you stumble or whatever, they don't know.
Yeah. So, all right, Robert, what do you think of it?
Well, I think Linda covered it pretty well. That's great.
It was only 20 minutes. It wasn't like a whole lot to discuss.
No, yeah, I mean, she did. She really did. She pretty much covered the whole thing right there. The only thing I can do really is kind of draw upon my prior life experiences, and you know, in the warehouse where I used to work there, I had guys that worked for me at a counter, and we had counter sales. And one of the ways, of course, always to increase your sales is to upsell, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the key to that is always knowing your customer, knowing what their problems are, what their possible problems are, and offer them possible solutions. I'll give you an example. Let's say a plumber comes in, and a plumber asks says he needs a toilet bowl, right? Well, you don't normally let that guy get away without asking, well, do you need a tank? Do you need a wax ring, to seal? Do you need tank bolts? You ask all those questions because those are things that are associated with installing that product. Okay? And it's, what Dave talks about is finding those core values for that person, getting down to the core and finding out what their real pain is. So, it's similar in the fact that, once you touch on those things, then if you know your products the way you should know your products, then you hopefully have a solution to offer them. And it's a real solution. It's not something just to make a sale. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, that's the way I look at it. But, I don't... I don't know any other way to explain it myself, but
right.
But,
Well, and it's also explaining why. This is what you need and why. And I think Wood kind of goes over that too. Is that if you want to get to $10,000 a month to provide for your daughter or whatever that core desire is, because people tend to be emotional beings. They will, that's why he wants to tap into that emotion, but then to explain why you need it and not just have them blindly buy it because he said so, also helps with the decision for them to make a very decisive yes. Send me the link. I will do it. I will buy those products. The same thing for me, when I was working for Honda, if I found out that the person was getting close to 100,000, they might have only been coming in for, a new tire or an oil change, but I would look to see if their vehicle had a timing chain or a timing belt, and if they had a timing belt, I would let them know that they need to start thinking about getting a timing belt chain if they're going to continue keeping the car. Because once the timing belt breaks, you have no car anymore. It's not like you can fix it or anything like that. It's done. And once I said, I want to tell you ahead of time, because for some people, a $1,500 job or a $1,000 job is something they have to maybe take a little time to get that money together. And so I'm telling you a few miles ahead of time to get prepared for it, because if you don't do it, then you're talking about a new engine or a new car, one of the two. And so because of that, I sold the most timing belt changes in the whole department. Just because I was forward thinking. When you look at the miles, you just mention it. And sometimes they're like, hey, let's just do it. I just got my taxes back or whatever, and let's just schedule it, and I'll do everything at once. And sometimes they were like, oh, thank you for the information. I'll keep that in mind and, start getting my budget together. And, it's just a matter of telling them, I'm not just trying to sell you a $1,000 service. It's actually to help you not have to have a bigger bill down the line. And people appreciate that. That's good customer service. Unless they're jaded for some reason. Maybe somebody tried to, shaft them sometime or something. But
Yeah, it's
Yeah, you
advanced
know,
warning on what they may not know,
right,
and every little bit of education helps.
right,
yeah, and when you talk about stuff like that, that automatically they flash to seeing themselves breaking down on the side of the road somewhere.
right,
And
right,
so, they want to steer away from that problem, and that's really what you're doing is you're offering them a solution to a problem that's inevitable because in that particular case, we know that those things only have so much lifespan, so
right,
it's going to break.
right, right. Yeah. Not if, it's when.
It's going to break.
And with the way most people take care of their cars, I mean, they don't take care of the maintenance on a regular basis.
Right.
So, it gets them thinking again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's Wood talked about it in another training about kind of in a good way to help the customer. It's kind of like pouring salt in the wound. Like
Mhm.
you make them aware of the issue and you really make them like tap into that, and the same thing with tapping into their emotion of the core desire, of this is why I want it, and then if you keep bringing it up, it just makes it stronger and stronger. Um, you know, um, so it's just making them aware and really aware of what could happen, and that you have a solution for it not to happen or to create what they want, as in our business, to create that income that they want. And I do like the fact that when he's talking about it, he keeps saying, I want you to be honest with me, and in return, I will be completely honest with you.
Mhm.
And that really makes a bond. He's kind of closing that gap as far as the relationship is concerned too. And the fact that he says, I'll work with you, and you can still join my business if you're not willing to do all this stuff. But if you're not willing to do the stuff that I tell you it's going to take to get to where you want to be, I'm not going to work with you because you're not taking it seriously. And I think sometimes that brutal honesty is what really turns people around. Is like, this is serious stuff. This is not, not to put any, make it any other company, um, lighter than ours. I don't know what the word is I want, but it's not just I'm a part-time Avon person or I'm a part-time Mary Kay. This is he's when you're working with your people, you need to know it's serious. You may not be able to do it full time right now, but if you really want to change your life, you've got to put whatever it takes in the time that you've got to put into it and take it seriously. This isn't just, some, newspaper route or something.
Mhm.
It's a real business and you got to take it seriously.
Yeah, and to add to that, I mean, the thing that I got most out of it was acting from a point of authority.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like Dave says, uh, you got to make it seem, and you really have to have the attitude that I just don't work with anybody.
Right.
I'm looking for people that are serious, that will follow directions, that'll be honest, and coachable, so that you can move them ahead.
Mm-hmm.
And I know Paul used some examples of his style where he's probably a little bit more blunt than Dave is on
I'm sure he is.
pissing people off, moving along.
Right.
So I mean, that's the whole other thing. I mean, because I know I've used that a little bit with some people I've been working with lately, and it gets them more involved.
Mm-hmm.
When you really start asking questions, because it's like you're interviewing them to a degree, and they sort
Mm-hmm.
of understand, because they come from that employee mindset
Right.
of this is the way you get a position, is how you answer the questions. So it makes it real
Mm-hmm.
interesting.
I agree.
Okay. Well, talking about going forward now, since we've just completed week 8, next week we'll discuss week 9. Even though there'll be some people that are at Orlando, hopefully they'll still agree, join us early Thursday morning if they're there, or if they're not there, at home. Unfortunately, I had something come up that's canceled my plans on going,
Me
so I
too.
will be here. What's up there, Robert?
Man, I was going to get to meet you in person for a change.
Yeah,
Oh
well, sorry.
no!
I
You're
was looking
going to
forward to pasta.
Orlando? Oh,
You too.
I know. When?
Oh, mate.
Unfortunately, everything just didn't work out right, so some things
Right.
popped up, and
I understand.
Yeah.
we'll be here next week. So anybody else that wants to join us, please stop by, so that we can all get to know each other a little bit better, especially new people and you old timers. Get out of bed, let's get to work. So we can be up, you can all be up too. I mean, you did it through the other boot camp when it was required.
Right.
This isn't required. This is just us getting together to keep things going, to talk about what we've learned, and gain some new knowledge. So that's what we're looking for going forward. So because before too long we'll be into the new boot camp with Erica, and we'll be back to the grindstone of learning and finishing assignments on time.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
Yep. So everybody's got to have that determination and consistency planned out ahead of time so they get through the boot camp. I know that's two of Robert's favorite features: consistency and determination.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, let's go back a minute to what you talked about in the beginning of this thing, and that's the syndication.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people that I have talked to before in my small circles, and they have a tendency to believe that sometimes that when they get into these syndication groups or into these Facebook bump groups, those kinds of things, that they spend a lot of time and really don't get a lot out of it. But the reason I say that is,
what?
Well, say that again, Ray.
They spend a lot of time doing what?
Basically commenting or sharing someone else's blog or whatever it is you're trying to syndicate, right? And I guess what they're feeling is that, well, the people that I'm syndicating here with are already people in this business, so who am I really syndicating to? What am I gaining from it? But I think that people forget that when you're syndicating to these different groups and these other people that get involved with you, you really have no idea who they're connected to and who you will connect to because they share your information. And I think sometimes people really do miss the whole point of doing this. It is because every time your link is shared, then, or your post is shared, then that link now allows a person to connect back to you if they're interested in what they see you doing. Of course, if the value you're providing is of interest to them, and that's really, in my opinion. And Ray, you've been doing a heck of a lot of syndicating, so you would know more than I. But is that not what you feel to be true?
Yeah, I mean, the more you get it out there, and the more clicks you get and comments you get, I mean, it helps with your ranking in Google. Also, so I mean, that's a big key. But like you said, you never know who's out there watching and reading your stuff. You don't know where it can go to. And
well, and I think that I think that when you're syndicating someone else's, like if you share someone else's blog on Google Plus, say, for instance, you can't think of it as it's taking away from you, that you're like promoting a competitor. You're providing more information to your audience that you didn't have to create. And not only does it highlight their stuff, but it also, they know they were looking at your Google Plus post, and so they still equate that you're providing good information, even though you're putting out you're posting someone else's blog. Whether or not you wrote it, the person's going to think, hey, this gal or guy is really sharing some great information, not only their stuff, but from other people's stuff too. And then in turn, you have to know that if the syndication is done right in the group or the thread or whatever, your stuff is being put out on, it's not just your stuff is being shared as well at a completely different audience. Sometimes we tend to think small, even though Facebook is, immense, it's worldwide, it's millions of people, and I'm just talking Facebook. I mean, that's not even counting all the other social media. You tend to think like the same people are reading your stuff as is reading Ray's stuff and Robert's stuff and Beth's stuff, and it's not. It's, there's other people. That's why you can take other people's information if it sparks an idea to create a blog. Because sometimes I think, my brain first thinks, oh, well, they've already seen that. Well, no, you saw it, but when you redo it, when you do it in your words and you create your own blog on that same subject, other people are seeing it for the first time. We tend to think because that's what we see, that's what everybody else sees. But, you have to think bigger. There's, millions of people out there, and other people are seeing what you're putting on there. Then, different people are seeing your stuff as are seeing whoever else's stuff that's on there. If that makes sense. I don't know if,
Yeah, because the one thing I look at, I don't see sharing other people's blog, content as competition for me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everybody's got their own style. Everybody's got their own point of view on things. Even though we're talking about possibly the same products. What I put out there is totally different than what Robert puts out there. So if I share his stuff, I mean, it's just helping him out, and if he shares my stuff, it's no competition to him. It's just that there's so many different people out there. I mean, you gotta look at it. Go into a Barnes and Noble. Look how many books are there. Do those authors think they're in competition with everybody? I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
Just in the music business, same way. Go get a download of say Nicki Minaj, and I don't think Eric Clapton's worried about her getting sales from it.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Yeah, so I mean that's the way I look at it.
Right. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
And
sometimes whenever go ahead, Linda.
Oh, what I was going to say is, since we're talking about helping each other syndicate, take the time to, if you don't have time to like really sit down and read the whole thing, at least browse through it so you can make an intelligent response on the comment. Because just like great information, kind of generic comment, yes, it's a comment, but really what you're wanting is not only the number of comments, but you want people to see that there's interaction, between the audience and the writer. So, so at least for our group, I can't say what all these blog sharing sites do, but at least for our group, we're a tight-knit group, we're family. Take the time to at least kind of do a quick read. If you can't do a sit down and take everything in, do a quick read so that you can make an intelligent comment that has to do with the content that's on the blog.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, because you got to show some interest in what they're doing.
Right.
So,
Right.
and you should be reading the whole thing,
Mm-hmm.
so you can learn something.
Right. Well, and the reason I say that is that I was part of a Facebook fan page share bump kind of thing, and people. The problem was there was a lot of people in there, and so to spread it out into like they spread it out into groups, so you didn't have to go through all of it. So there might be like 15 people in your group. And if they were posting things, like several times a day, it did take up a lot of time. And so what people were doing was they were just like not reading it, and they were like, hey, great share, or a thumbs up, or something like that, just to put a comment in there, which yeah, on the surface it helps because you have a comment there, but it's really not helping in the long-term scheme of things. Because again, with your Facebook posts, you want interaction, not just a thumbs up or something like that. And but our group will grow, but maybe we can start splitting it up when it gets big. But for now, and we only, Eric is only saying pick three, pick three people. And so reading 3 blogs, we're not all writing 2,000, word blogs.
Mhm.
Take the time to read it and make a nice comment that makes it show that you read the blog.
Yeah, and on the other side of that too, make sure that you answer your comments.
Right. Yeah.
Always get back to the person, because there's the interaction, and
Right.
you don't know where that can go.
Yeah, and I'm not so sure. I mean, personally, I never get a second response from the person that I answer the reply to
Mm-hmm.
on my blog.
Mhm.
So, sometimes I wonder if that's even getting back to the person
Right.
that made the initial.
I wondered about that too. Do they get a notification that you replied to them? Because we get notification, of course, someone's put something on your blog.
Mhm.
And again, same thing. When you're responding to someone, don't just put thanks. Put, hey, thank you for your input. I really appreciate it. Ask them a question, or say, or continue with that thought, whatever they say. If they say, I really liked this and this and this, say, isn't that true? Have you ever thought about this? Or, or I also think this. Write a little sentence, not just thank you. Because eventually, well, we don't know. Maybe that's something, we can ask in one of the Empower Network, like their Facebook page or whatever, or send in a note to somebody. We don't know if they're getting notification, but if they are, then that's really going to help have kind of a thread of, comments if you start asking them questions back, and that you're a real person. When it's not just us commenting on each other's, when it's, it's getting you in the habit of, no matter who's answering, that you comment back, and then if that's a prospect, they're like, man, this person really is real, and they're paying attention to the comment I leave. And that's that's just another part of getting them to know, like, and trust you.
Yeah. And since you brought up Linda, could you just drop a note to Vanessa?
Yes.
On that question?
Absolutely.
The one that's been answering a lot of the Kalatu questions that have been in the threads on the Empower Network site.
Yeah.
So that'd be good, so we can get an answer on that, and spread the word so that we know what's going on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and of course there's the big hangout tonight about the gamma testing.
Right.
So that's big news. Big news.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Robert, did you get that email? You a gamma tester?
I haven't seen it yet, but I haven't looked at my email since yesterday, so
Okay.
I'll check that out. I appreciate you reminding me of that. Deb said something to me yesterday afternoon about that too, but I was busy and didn't get to it. So, but
Mm.
yeah, I will check that out as soon as we get off here.
Oh, good.
Um, but the point that Linda brought up there is on your comments, and it doesn't matter whether it's Facebook, whether it's on your blog.
Mm.
I think what we're all really want to do and probably need to be doing is to commenting in such a manner that it continues a conversation. You continue to interact,
Mm.
and that your comment also uh, is not just always with a one-on-one person there. Okay, it sometimes you want to be able to spark um, something that other people then will want to get in the conversation as well.
Mm.
Okay, because that's the reason, or that's the way long threads are created, because people get in there and they start making comments that other people get involved with too.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
and that's why you'll see a lot of the leaders will ask just a doesn't necessarily have to do with business, but they'll ask a question, just about life in general or something that's going on, in the country or something, and that's what they want. They want that interaction because even though you may not be talking, it could or could not necessarily have to do with business, but you're recreating that relationship. It's always like being at a dinner party where you don't quite have, you may kind of know the person but not real well. And just think of if you complimented somebody at a party and all they did was say thanks and then like not say anything after that. And then you're like, you know, uh, nice talking to you. And then, you go talk to somebody else. And it's those parties that when you get into a really good conversation with somebody that you just talk about something that's whatever it may be something trivial, it may be something deep, it may be something business or life or relationship or whatever, but you have a really good conversation with a couple of people standing at a party, and you leave the party going, man, that was a great party. I really enjoyed having that conversation with Sue and Jim and that kind of thing. And that's what this whole thing is about. It's that blown up into a bigger proportion. And it's all about that interaction and building relationships. And when even if somebody doesn't comment, if you saw the post that was Tracy Walker started it, I think, and then Kevin Connect shared it, and then I think Erica shared it. It was basically like they're watching you. They listed all these people, the people that doubted you, the people that are cheering you on, the people, everybody's watching you. There are people that are watching those threads that may not be saying anything, but when they see you interact with people and you're positive and you're asking these, thoughtful, thought-provoking questions, that is building up you in their mind. You're building a relationship even though it's kind of one-sided. They're watching and you're interacting with other people. You're still building that relationship with that person. And so you have to keep that in mind. And it doesn't, I know we all don't want to spend 24 hours on Facebook or on. I just use Facebook because I'm on. That's the platform I love the best. But any social media, you don't want to spend 24 hours a day in front of your computer. What we're all about is not only financial freedom but time freedom as well. But it doesn't take that long to go through your notifications and someone commented. Go over there and comment back and maybe ask a question or whatever, and just keep that thread going. Um, And sometimes you have to get, maybe you see a notification, but you needed to get off Facebook. Well, just make a mental note that you have to get back to that conversation next time you're on Facebook. It doesn't have to be an immediate response.
Yeah, because that's what I do a lot of that with my picture, my inspirational quotes of the day.
Mm-hmm.
When I get somebody, if somebody likes it or somebody shares it, I send them a note right away.
Mm-hmm.
Saying, hey, and I put their name in it. Thanks for liking my post today, or thanks for sharing my post. It's nice to meet like-minded individuals online. I'd like to get to know more about you. By the way, what do you do? And I get a good number of responses back, and try to keep conversations going. But it just seems everybody's so tied up with their lives, it makes it a little bit difficult. But there's some that I still got going on from 2 weeks ago. So I mean, they're moving in the right direction. So
right.
And it's asking questions. I mean, showing them care and what they got going on. I mean, I got one girl I got her signed up in iPass, but her brother's family had a huge car accident that messed up some people, and so she's been taking care of that. And when I see her online, I'll ask her first about that before I ask her about anything else.
Right.
Building that rapport with her and showing concern.
Yep. And even saying, hey, I know you don't have, your mind is somewhere else right now, and that's the way it should be. Concern for your family and everything. I just want to let you know that I'm here when you have questions, and I'm gonna check back with you in a few days just to see how things are going. I know you wanted to get started with this, so I just want to kind of keep in touch with you and make sure that I'm not forgetting about you, or that kind of thing. Kind of put it in a like, I want to build this relationship kind of thing. People like that.
Yeah.
We all want to be petted and patted and told we're special. So
yeah, because one of the things I know, after she watched the videos and stuff, she wrote me back and she says, "Are you going to be my mentor?" And I said, "Yes."
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just to give her that reassurance, and then stay on top of it. Like Linda said, just check in every now and then, or just drop a note so they know you're out there. And that's been working along pretty good. Even though her mind's not really into it right now.
Yeah, I'm still in contact with the company that hired me to do the social media consulting for them. That hasn't really come to fruition yet, because they're still, they're a startup company though, so they're still trying to get, funding for, because they have to get, not copyright, but what's the other?
Trademark.
Yeah, trademarks and just all kind of legal stuff, and that comes first. They have to, if they have a product that they're developing from the ground up, that stuff comes first before they put it out to the public, and I understand that. And so I keep in touch, and I'm like, like about every couple weeks or every 3 weeks, I'll just drop a note and say, just want to let you know I'm thinking about you. I hope everything's going okay. Let me know, when things start getting closer to to the time when you are needing me. Now, there may become a time where, my business is, here's what I should say. There will come a time that my business is so big that I won't have the time to do what they want me to do. So if it's taking them that much time, but then I can refer them to someone who knows what I know that maybe doesn't have as big a business that may need a job like that, a gig like that. And but I still keep the relationship going, because that's a big chunk of money, but it's going to take some time, and my heart is with Empower Networks, so I'll have to make that decision when that comes, but I still keep the relationship going. I'm not going to burn any bridges, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, because a lot of this business is relationships.
Right.
And you can't lose sight of that. I mean, you just look at the boot camps, the way everybody's come together in both of them that have recently happened. and
Mhm.
the bonds that were formed there. Because I know, like when ours was over, I mean, it was real tough to think about it not going on.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yeah.
Robert, now that he's done 2 in a row, as Erica pointed out, he's the only one that's consecutively won diploma and the 100% award. So that's one you got
Robert,
up on me, buddy.
Robert, this time did you have to like do 48 things in the last 24 hours?
No, no.
Good.
I actually, I was done by Monday night, and I was like,
Wow, I bet that felt
wow,
good.
I get to sleep tonight.
Made it a little bit easier for you, huh?
Oh Lord, yeah, absolutely,
So
absolutely.
you learned the first time. I like that. So,
You know, it's funny. I there's a lot of leaders that well, and not even leaders, but people up and coming that are like grinding, and they talk about not being able to sleep, and I'm like, what? I mean, I have a hard time sleeping, but I'm not staying up all hours of the night, figuring things out and marketing and stuff. I need my sleep. But lately, well, it was a couple of days ago, I had a breakthrough. And you know what? I can't even tell you what happened to spark this, but I just got like real emotional and I just knew things were going to be different the next 90 days. And I know a lot of it has to do with going through Erica's next boot camp because it changed me so much the first one. This next level one I just know is going to, you know, change me again. And but ever since then, I've been having dreams about having like $10,000 months and just like my brain is on hyper speed as far as business is concerned. So I'm now kind of understanding how those people who really are pushing hard have trouble sleeping or stay up all night getting stuff done because it just gets into your brain.
yeah, I can understand that. I mean, with me, I mean, I'm up early every day to get my stuff done, so I got free time during the day. But that's the
Hmm.
beauty I like behind it. I'll start out at 6, and by 9 I'm done. Because I do all my blogs the day before and get my emails set up the day before, so they just go out automatically. And then I just do my regular postings like I do in all the different groups when I'm not blocked, and keep going from there. Because that's been one thing that's been going. In the past week, I've been getting blocked just about every day on something I post on. They're saying I go too fast, but I've tried to break it up, and I just figured out it's just the number of posts that you make in a certain category.
Hmm.
So, that's been interesting
Yeah.
to try to overcome.
Well, neither of us got blocked until we started posting more than once a day.
No, I was always posting more than once a day. It's just that I added more groups to it, and that's where I got caught.
Oh.
So, I mean,
See, for me it was well, and I was adding more groups too.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, they only allow you to do so many groups before they block you. I mean, that's the way I see it.
hmm.
And you write to them, and they never write back because they said, do you think this is, a mistake? And I always write back, yeah.
Of course.
Of course it is. I'm doing my regular. I mean, because I've been doing this for months, but I added more and more, and as I got up there, I mean, that's where I got, in trouble. So I mean, it's just
There's
something.
got to be someone that knows that algorithm or that whatever the thing they use, the rule of thumb they use, that we could
Yeah,
avoid that. We just got
yeah,
to figure out who knows it and get the information from them.
right. Because I mean, even in my last job, we had a huge email list, and we had an automatic email sender, and I set it up one day to send out emails. And next thing I knew, we had no internet service because we were being blocked because we did more than 500 in an hour.
Mm.
So, you know, a lot of companies have this in their system. So, I mean, it's nothing new to me. I just want to know the numbers so I can be, you know, careful.
Right. That's all we want is to know the rules, how to play the game.
Right,
Yep.
but they don't want you to know that.
No,
want
they don't.
control. What was that, Robert?
But then they let those porn posts go into, oh my God.
I report those now.
I do too,
I've been
but
getting,
it just sickens me that, well, this is a personal preference. I have no problem with porn if that's what you like or whatever, but it's inappropriate. It's in an inappropriate place. It wasn't asked for, and I just feel like it's my little pristine, good comment standing next to a skanky hooker. You know what I mean? Like, the post underneath mine is two people going at it, and then there's my little thing about choose joy.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, my little virgin next to the skank.
You know, it has its time and place, but that's just not on Facebook and the threads that we're, in for business.
Yeah. People go looking for that stuff. You don't need to be posting it all over every place.
Yeah, or even people that go ahead and put, their business in my thread of my thing.
Yeah.
I just block them from now on.
Yeah.
I've got a huge list of people I've blocked over time because you don't need it.
And that's not good marketing. You don't want to have to deal with them anyway.
No, I mean, it's just like the messages I get all day long. People, oh, I saw you in this group. You should try this out. And I always write back, no, and you should learn how to market properly.
Right.
Yeah.
I always ask, is this type of marketing actually working for you?
Yeah, that's a question nobody will answer properly.
No. They just never respond.
Yeah. So, all right, we're coming up on top of the hour. Anybody got any last thoughts or comments they want to bring up and mention to the group?
Hey, I want to just thank everybody for the support for Princess Mafia show. The first episode was awesome. We had a few technical difficulties because we were so concerned with Zen's connection being in China. We didn't really test Nancy's connection, and then it was all my fault because once I had her jump out and she tried to get back on, I had locked I thought I was only locking one seat because someone was trying to get on and we weren't really prepared for any guests or anything yet, so I locked it. And that also locked Nancy from getting on, so she couldn't get back on for like the 3/4 of the show. So next time, hopefully, it's a learning process, so next time will go smoother. But even with that stuff, it went really well. We got a lot of great feedback, and we're just so excited about, what we're going to do going forward and the big plans we have for, possibly in the next year, maybe doing like a personal development retreat and just, all kinds of stuff, community outreach kind of stuff. And so anyway, I just wanted to publicly say thank you to everybody who was, so supportive, and we appreciate all the positive feedback because we were really excited about it. And we weren't sure, how it was going to be viewed by other people, and so it gets us more excited to do more. So thanks to everybody for that.
Yeah, all right, we're gonna have to charge you for commercial time for that.
Yeah. This hangout has been brought to you by the Princess Mafia show.
Yeah, I mean, get your plugs in while you can.
Linda, do you have a replay of that? Because I did miss that.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I'll send it to you in a PM, in a private message.
Okay.
I mean, it's on my wall, but for easy access, I'll put it in a PM for you.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, but you can just go on Blab and see it too.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at
look me up.
Free on the replay.
Free Life Linda.
And just in the search box, type in Hobson. That's what I usually do to find it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, that works
Yeah,
out well.
because I definitely want to go watch it and just see how everything went.
And
And
Nancy just gave us a quote, says, "Oh, well, there's always next week."
that's right. That's probably going to be our motto.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's amazing that you are doing something like that. My hat's off to you.
Thanks. It's you got to get out there, and I've been thinking more and more lately about one time at one event, Rhonda Shore got up and talked about taking up internet real estate, and basically that's how I'm viewing it, is that if you have an idea for something, do it. If it doesn't work out, you can always just slowly get off the radar and do something else. But most times people are very hungry for stuff like that, in information that's given in a different kind of way or a fun way, and so I'm actually up to well, I do another talk show with someone else in Empower Network that's Success Roads, and we just interview people that are successful. Tonight's going to be Alicia Stringer. We're going to interview Alicia Stringer.
Okay.
And then he's talking about doing another time, like having 2 times a week that we do this show. And at first I was like, I always get scared that I'm not going to be able to fit everything in because I tend to overschedule myself. But then Rhonda Shore's in my other ear. Rhonda Swan is in my other ear saying, you need that real estate. So we may be doing twice a week for Success Roads. But, and the same thing with Hangouts, doing training Hangouts, and just even if a couple of people only show up, it's not about the audience that shows up live. That'll grow. But it's repurposing that information. Thousands and thousands of people can see that over a few months just by repurposing it.
Yeah. All right.
So.
Well, that's going to wrap it up for today. All of you going to Vegas not Vegas. I'm so used to going to Vegas now. I've been there twice with this group. But yeah, everybody going to Orlando. Have a great time. We'll be looking for you on the live feed. So wave at the cameras.
That's right. Wave at the cameras.
Wave at the camera. We'll be looking for you. So yeah, Robert's got that down. And this week go over top producer formula, week 9, lesson number 9, so we can talk about it next week and continue our learning. And for anybody that's not in Vegas, or if you're still going to be in Vegas and you want Orlando, geez, I got Vegas on my mind. We'll be here next week doing our thing, so please join us, and if not, catch the replay. But until then, everybody have a great week, and we'll see you next week. Y'all, everybody wave goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
All right, I'm going to end this broadcast and move on. See ya.